My name is Laura, and I am the youth librarian at the Grantsview branch of the St. Louis County Library. Today, I'm going to share with you a few simple activities you can do with materials that you might already have around the house to help build your child's fine motor skills. So fine motor skills are basically just being able to use our hands, use our thumbs and our fingers, make pinching grasps, and move those parts of our hands independently. And these are so important for our kiddos for all kinds of things that they do, from learning how to zip up their own jacket, to do buttons, to tying their shoes, feeding themselves, or even as they get a little older, being able to write with a pencil or cut with scissors. So these are, like I said, some simple things you can do to help your child work on controlling those fine motor skills. The first activity I want to tell you about is something I call chip clip grasping. So I don't know about you, but I have tons of these clips around my house, and they are actually a great way for our kiddos to practice those fine motor skills. You might have seen an activity like this with clothespins before, but I like to use the chip clips better because they have usually a wider surface that your kid can grip onto, and so it makes it a little bit easier for our kiddos who are just starting to be able to use those skills. So all you need for this activity is some chip clips and any sort of thing that they can be clipped onto. You could do this with a box or a container. I do it with my niece with a tray that I have, and today I have a plastic shoebox. So all you do is you clip them on for your child, and then you ask them to take them off. And if your child is working on things like colors, you can say, "Oh, can you find the red chip clip and pull it off?" And this can be really challenging for them. So you can encourage them as they go on and say, "Oh, keep trying, keep working those muscles really hard." If they need a little help, you can give them a little squeeze too to help them along. And then you can also count them as they come off. So you can work on your colors, your counting, and your fine motor skills with one simple activity. The next activity I'm going to share with you is called junk mail lacing. So for this activity, all you really need is a piece of junk mail. A mailer that's this size and that's kind of stiff is perfect. And if you don't have a junk mail piece like this, if you have some cardstock in your house, that's a good substitute too. And then the other thing we need for this is a piece of ribbon or a lace. I think a shoelace is the perfect thing to use for this activity. But if you don't have a shoelace, you can certainly substitute in something like a curling ribbon or yarn. And so I'm going to show you what you can do with yarn. So I'm going to take a piece of yarn, and I want to make it pretty long because I want it to be able to lace all the way around our piece of junk mail. And then I'm going to cut it. And the one thing you can do to make this a little easier for your kid is to take some tape and wrap it around the end of your yarn. And you just need to do this on one side. This kind of gives them a point that they can use for our lacing. So after you have your piece of yarn, you can go ahead and take your mailer and you're going to punch some holes in it. If you have a hole punch, you can certainly use that to do it. And if you don't have a hole punch, you can even use a pencil, just carefully pushing through and making your holes like that. And you're going to take your yarn or your shoelace and tie it onto one hole, and then you'll punch holes all the way around the edge of your mailer, and your kid can lace through them. So I'm going to tie a knot here, and that's it. Now you can encourage your child to take that lace and, oh, it's so hard, keep trying. Push it through the hole and pull. So they're going to have to grasp that and use those fine motor skills to push it through. And we're also using some big body motions to pull it all the way through. So that's our junk mail lacing. The next activity I would like to share with you is cereal threading. And for this activity, you just need a cereal that has a hole in it, like I have some Cheerios here, and a little piece of Play-Doh, and then something that it can be threaded onto. So this could be a thin bamboo skewer, it could be a long thin piece of pasta, it could even be a pipe cleaner if you were doing something a little more wobbly for your child and they could just thread without sticking it to something. So anything that the Cheerios will fit on, basically. So today I have a bamboo skewer, and this did have a point on it, so I cut off the point so that it would not be a hazard with using it with our little ones. And then I'm going to take that and just put it right into the Play-Doh. And so then I want to make the surface so that it can sit on the table. And you can even use the Play-Doh to help stick it down a little bit. And then all you do is you show your child how to place the Cheerio on the skewer and let it go down. And so they get to pick them up using that pincer grasp and then thread them on. And that's using their fine motor skills. And it also can be a little bit of a snack. So these are just a few ways that you can help your child develop their fine motor skills with materials that you may already have around the house. I hope you all have fun trying out some of these ideas.